Hello, I'm Nirmal Jadwani from Christ Team to be University, Pune Lavasa campus. So today I'll be talking about my presentation. Basically, I'll be talking about my research paper that I wrote, which the topic is whether basically it's an analysis of the environmental impacts of electric vehicles. So generally speaking, there is a lot of people think that electric vehicles are good for the environment, and it is very good. There are so many advantages. There is very few so many advantages. It basically leads a basic alternative for a base use of fossil fuels. That is how internal combustion engine works, that is on diesel, petrol, whereas electric vehicles works on batteries, as lithium batteries to be exact, which basically makes the major difference today. So basically, starting on the today, like starting with the basics things, like the basic pros or the basic advantages of electric vehicles are uh, a lot. Starting with the renewable energy, low maintenance cost, tax facility. Government actually prefers people switching from normal vehicles, which is like the internal combustion vehicles, to the electric vehicles. It is less pollution, it has less noise pollution, less running cost. See, electricity doesn't cost that much as compared to fossil fuels, of course. But now let's come to the downsides. Let's come to the disadvantages. Let's try and evaluate both the sides. So first, it's expensive. So when you ever go and buy an electric vehicle, no, it's 20 to 25% extra as compared to at the time of the purchase of a normal car. Secondly, the driving range. So whenever we come to driving range, max can be exceeded to a limit. For example, let's take an example: the G wagon, now the G-Wix, which is the electric car, runs at max a stretch of 96 miles. That's it. Whereas a Volkswagen, normal Volkswagen, and a single fuel tank runs 1527 approximately miles. Do you see the gap? That is what an electric vehicle can range up to a range, whereas a normal vehicle. Secondly, so electric vehicles not is just makes other appliance expensive, like the electricity bills, like the setup cost and the other things. Also, we say that the government's providing tax benefits, 100% agreed, but there is also a tax slabs in electricity. So I'll take an example, like in Maharashtra, where I am. This is a slab. So if you use till, for example, it's a hypothetical situation that usually happens, that for example, if you use till 100 units, you have to pay 4 rupees per unit. But whereas if it exceeds 100, you have to pay 8 per unit. This is a difference. So the charging will 100% scale up to where you actually have to pay a lot than just the wire. And secondly, the resale value. After 5 years, the battery gets, so it gets finished of an electric vehicle. You have to, if you change the battery again, the cost expensive. Otherwise, if you don't, then there's no resale value. It's the value depreciates way more than a normal vehicle. Another topic, apart from the basic advantages, disadvantages, is that whether batteries which is used, the lithium batteries, are eco-friendly or not. Being honest, no. A normal lithium battery cost way much use of fossil fuels, which basically, so to be honest, we are not using directly in the car, but to make that battery, a lot of fossil fuels are required, a lot of research, and that the processing cost a lot of carbon emission. So currently the car is not doing the carbon emission, but the process of making that car is also doing a lot. So till the time it reaches the vehicle, it's already done the pollution, the harm is already caused. What happens in a normal vehicle, the harm is causing while the vehicle is being used, whereas in this, the harm's already caused. We are already at negative side. Coming to the next point, there is, let's now after these advantages, let's come on to the laws, how India is adaptable. So to be honest, we do not have as such specific laws that relates to electric vehicles, but let's talk about, we have Motor Vehicles Act. So Motor Vehicle Act has few of the provisions, like section 2 defines 2A defines not vehicles, to be honest, it defines just e-rickshaw and e-carts, which is, that's the only things that have been governed. Then there's also section 27, there's also section 7 and 9 that lays down the grants of driving license, and then also 27, which provides the powers of to the central government to make rules and regulations. So technically, technically, if we see, there are only rules and regulations. There are no specific laws with regards to the capacity of the lithium battery, the combustion, how the process of the making the battery, how is it eco-friendly, and the expense cost. Even let's take it at the best, very best, to reduce bills. Let's talk about the expense can be reduced that if you put solar panels in the house. Solar panel itself is very expensive to put at the initial. I agree that maybe the running cost might be less, but that the expense, that an investment is way too much, and to cover that expense you need 10 years or 5 years time. So to conclude, I'll conclude by like in three lines. That would be first, like we need a comprehensive government policies, and which is accompanied by vast investment by both in infrastructure, in the process, in the, of course, the whole infrastructure as such, and then also in the mindset of the society. And then of course we need laws to make sure there is no misuse happening or overreach is of happening, or maybe it's no as such destroyed, or the environment is more degraded than it is already is. Secondly, then another thing is that there is a good scope if we follow these all. But we're in India, and everyone know how quickly the things are made, how laws are made. Just to say, the data privacy bill is still a bill, not even a law, and we do not have any data privacy laws. Whereas electric vehicle may be a trend and might come to 5 years, and we say that 2030, but I really don't think so. And then that's how India's infrastructure and the way India's infrastructure builds so fast. As everyone knows, see the we can't deny. So looking at the things, to be honest, there is no infrastructure, no laws. So currently, if I have to state, it is very risky to say that the electric vehicles are the future. And we are not actually, everyone's being like it's good, but we are not actually analyzing what are the, how it basically degrades it. It's at the outset, it does not degrades it, agreed. But if we look at the process, how it is done, the environmental degradation may, if we take the proper research of when it is actually implemented, then we could realize how it is actually destroying a lot. Maybe it might destroy a lot or might not, but that's a maybe, and it is a chance of destroying and having internal environmental degradation a lot as compared to what we are having just now. But the only advantage is that, or we actually need, is that we are running out of fossil fuels. So to sustain, we need an alternative. But the question is whether electric vehicles is a good option. It could be an attractive solution, but is it the best solution? That's one question that you should think before talking whether the electric vehicles is good or bad. Thank you.